Every expert told you so, and it still happened. I explained about the Snappening and the Dropbox incident. I'm Steve, this is TQA Weekly, and of course, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, stories, anything else that you would actually like me to share with the people that listen to my show, email is ask@tqaweekly.com. Website is tqaweekly.com. I got places for comments from you, as well as a contact form where you can email me directly. And if you're already on YouTube, blip.tv, Vimeo, or anywhere else I post to every single week, the comments box is actually down below. So every expert told you so, and it happened anyway. Why? I'm going to be talking about the Snappening and the Dropbox incident. So let's start off with the Dropbox incident, since this is a fairly rudimentary, easy hack to do because, well, quite frankly, there is nothing about this hack that is actually a hack. So first of all, we know the internet's a dangerous place. We know there are continuous attacks against websites for their databases of passwords. Even my database on my website has to be encrypted, even though technically speaking, there's no information. But because of the way password lists work, we have to encrypt everything that we have in a one-directional encryption algorithm. We have to make sure that all of our scripts are clean, that we actually sanitize all the inputs on every form on our website, and we have to do a lot of work to keep websites safe. Now, this is not a perfect solution. There are always ways around it, and you can only learn how to deal with hacks one bug at a time. So what ends up happening is eventually you come up with a database of usernames and passwords that you can actually test on other websites, which is what happened to Dropbox. They did not actually get hacked themselves. Now, to their credit, they did expire the usernames and passwords as they saw this attack occur. So anybody paying into that Pastebin's Bitcoin account is actually just paying the guy for work that he doesn't deserve, because none of those accounts, or basically almost all of those accounts, even if there's only a few, are not accessible to begin with. But he does bring up the important point of you really do need to change your passwords so that they're never identical on every single website. And people who know me also know that you should also have multiple different types of usernames that you use. Therefore, you cannot have all your accounts linked together. Because if you start being able to link accounts together, you're able to actually find where you reside on the internet. One perfect tool to deal with all this is LastPass, available at lastpass.com. In your computer, it is a free application. You can also pay for it to be used on various tablets and mobile phones. That is a very simple problem to deal with. If you have different passwords on every single website and on top of that a different username, it is fairly hard to access any of your information or even link it together. Now, the Snappening. What happened and what does Snapchat have to do anything with this? Well, people are assholes. We'll just leave it at that. We all know this. It is the truth. This is actually why people want applications to do things that the initial application was never intent on doing in the first place, but they want to download their favorite FAP photos so that they can look at it and even share it without the original author's authority. Now, irregardless of how it works, just because somebody sends you a picture, according to most laws in many, many democratic countries, just because somebody sends you a picture does not mean that you are entitled to share that picture at all. That is literally how it works, especially in these contexts where this picture is actually being sent to you in an application where the picture is supposed to die and either party actually knows this is going to happen. Now, Snapchat is not technically to blame. I would say they should freaking lock down their API so that nobody else can use it. This would instantaneously knock off the internet about 2 or 3 different dozen applications that actually take advantage of that API and compromise their security, despite the fact that they indicate in their terms of service that you're not supposed to do that. But let's be honest. it's not technically their fault. You can lock down APIs all day long. There's always going to be a way around them, and you have to constantly be watching what happens and trying to lock it down as much as possible. The website that actually did get compromised was SnapSaved. Now, there is a special level of problem when you're dealing with an application like this. Because of the age of most of the users, it's more of a child pornography issue than it is anything else. So obviously you shouldn't be taking pictures of yourself and sharing it on the internet, but nobody should be sharing this stuff or even making it available after the fact for anybody else to download, because of the sensitive nature of these images and because many of the people that would download this actually come from places where this kind of photography is technically illegal to collect. So in this case, SnapSaved did say that any pictures that they deemed not supposed to be there, so I'm going to use a very simple language, they deleted. And that the hundreds of thousands of photos indexed and searchable that they claim to have turned out to be an unindexable, unsearchable 5,000 pictures, according to the last details I checked. And that means that the problem is actually smaller than originally, blown up to be. Both of these things, the Dropbox incident and the Snapchat incident, are things that we were already told by experts years ago that could potentially happen. And it happened anyway, because we all assume somebody else was going to look at it, and that is why it all happened. So basically, none of these two companies are technically to blame. They should lock down their stuff, but you should change your password, and you shouldn't share stuff on the internet you don't want going around. So if you learned anything from this episode, I would like you to leave a comment down below telling me what you actually learned. If you liked it, like it, share it with others that you think that can benefit from this. And if you haven't already subscribed, the subscribe button is just underneath this video if you're on YouTube or any other place online. Have a great day.